I wanted to talk about a subject I've touched upon, but really give more of my thoughts as far as the stereotypes Kentucky has, mainly of its people that live here. Because I have lived on both coasts, on the coast of California and on Florida, and I've lived in between in a few places. I am a Kentucky native. I was born here. I didn't really live here a lot until I was an adult, but I lived less than an hour away across the river in Indiana for most of my childhood. But as I keep saying, I've lived on both coasts. Lived in California for a year. My dad stayed there, and then we visited him a lot. And after meeting my husband, who grew up in a different state than me, we both desire to find some place with more community. And even though that wasn't what we were saying, we just were like, I don't know, I guess we're like sensitive in that way that like we like to have neighbors that say hi back to you when you say hi. And it's like the mentality of living in a city, like the more people there are, it's simply not the way we were meant or designed to live. I love cities. I'm glad they're there. I understand there's always going to be people who prefer to live in the city. So I'm not trying to say like everybody should be like me and desire to live in the country, but I do believe it is the cause of a lot of um, health issues, physical and mental, living in cities and communities of 200 or less. That is where sociologically, like we are better off. And that is because people are more community minded. Now, why is it when people bring up Kentucky, often the first thing that gets thrown out there is the hillbilly stereotype? You don't hear, oh, how warm and inviting most of the people are. It's there's a lot of backwards hillbillies who are extremely uneducated and have little to no teeth. And while we might have more of those per capita than some states, as I spit, um, is still what I believe we have the most per capita of are those community-minded people. People that really do thrive off of doing unto others, whether they're Christian or not. People who look out for their neighbors. If somebody came down the street who wasn't a part of this neighborhood, people would know. People might start texting or calling. You know who that is. And we had a like watchdog in our neighborhood in Indiana too. I know Kentucky isn't the only place where people care about their neighbors, but it's definitely a lot more people who are more community minded. And that is why it is attractive, not only the price of the land, but just the quality of people that you will be near. Hey, Toxic, how are you doing today? Hi, Ron, I'm not going to pronounce that right. Roanoke, and hi, email. Yeah, California is on fire, and that's very unfortunate. And it's a lot of it is due to bad policies, and one thing I've learned as an adult is nobody's going to save you. You can't depend on anybody, you can't depend on your government, you can't depend on God, you can't depend on your spouse completely. Nobody is here to save you, and that's one problem with, like, American women in particular, is we were inundated and brainwashed with all these stories of being the damsel in distress and being saved, right? And, as independent as we can be, a lot of us still have that ingrained in us. Hi, Jamal, and oh, thank you, email. It's really sweet of you. I am not on Instagram. I really don't do much besides YouTube, and I really want to start going live more. I'm getting ready to go to work tonight. I work in a factory, for those of you that don't know, and we are trying to build up a homestead. And when we first moved to Kentucky, we got a great deal on 23 acres. It had no house. It did have electric. And we jumped in and we bit off more than we could chew. We ended up selling that property after we put a tiny house on it. It wasn't finished. It was had the walls and floors done, but no plumbing or electric in it. It had solar. So I am 37 years old. I'm getting ready to turn 38 in March. And it just decided, you know, several years ago, like it felt like my life wasn't mine, like I'm sure a lot of people feel, and you just work to pay bills. And if I'm going to just work to pay bills, I at least want to live in a place that I like and where I can do what I want to do on my land, have as many chickens as I want, and all of that. And the first property we bought, we did move next to some hillbillies, like the bad type. The hillbillies whose family name is on a lot of the streets and things around, and they think that they own it, but they don't. They don't own that much, and they have a chip on their shoulder about it. And recently, um, well, one of my kids is still in school right now. One of them is homeschooled. He's inside with his dad. And I mean, two of my kids are in school right now. So, anyways, we did homeschool them until middle school and high school. and I have a 7-year-old who is at home, and the goal is to get him in schools. Oh, your grandma, what's your grandma's name? Jenna? I'm not gonna fall for that one. Somebody got me before. So anyways, people have this negative stereotype, and it's sad because my whole life I've heard it. I heard it in California, I heard it in Florida. As soon as somebody like, "Where are you from?" I was born in Kentucky. They have like negative things to say. They don't have anything good to say. And after living in all those places, I can honestly say it's the best place I've ever lived. And that's because mainly because there's more community-minded people. While some people might think, they're behind the times and like I think not having the internet in a lot of the areas, like I think certain things ended up benefiting a lot of people in that there's 2 different kinds of psychology nowadays, those people that live their lives online and the people that do not. And there's just a lot more people that you might, play off as like uneducated hillbillies, but they actually know a lot more than a lot of people that live in a city and go to college. And we need all kinds, right? We need everybody in the world. So I don't think everybody needs to move to Kentucky and homestead. This is for people who are probably, weren't born here and didn't visit here and didn't live here and is an adult and see the prices of the land and might be attracted to that, but think, oh, well, like Kentucky's full of a bunch of hillbillies. One of the first people we met when we moved here to central Kentucky was a man who had sold 2 patents to Black and Decker, and he did live in some cool cities. And he came and retired back in a little town in central Kentucky because it is so great. The people are so great and it is so beautiful. And if you're going to be poor, if you're going to work, you live paycheck to paycheck, like why not do it in a place that you enjoy? And that is also like something I want to say when it comes to people who act like they are like the literal watchdogs. If you see me shaking, it's because I take a lot of caffeine before I go into work and I drive an hour and then I work 10 and a half hours. So I'm not driving home till 2 a.m. And I yeah, I probably take too much caffeine sometimes. But anyways, you want community-minded neighbors, not territorial ones. And there's definitely, I can't stress that enough, way more community-minded people, people that want to take care of their land and their neighbors, but they're not going to like harass you like some people do. And oh, yeah, I work 50 to 60 hours a week. Sorry, I'm not reading all the comments, and I don't really want to touch my phone because I don't want to mess it up and like show my house. Even though I'm sure eventually I'll show my house as we are getting ready to completely redo the landscaping this spring. And I'm so excited to show you guys what I can perennialize in 1 and 2 seasons. I'm just so excited that I'm back at work and things are going well and we'll be able to afford to do what I want to do this season. I like coffee and I also, um, take a lot of like vitamins. Right now, I have a protein shake with raw milk that I put iodine and some mushrooms and what kind of mushrooms? Turkey tail extract, I believe. And I try to give myself a lot of like I put vitamin D on my skin. I have a lotion that has vitamin D because I'm like chronically low on vitamin D no matter how much I supplement or sunbathe. So now I'm trying transdermal methods. I do not watch sports. I really enjoy coffee, me and my husband do, and actually lately to save money, we started drinking instant coffee, which I know sounds disgusting, but we have been trying to get, like, a cheaper coffee because it costs so much, and it just came to the we came to the conclusion that I'd rather drink, like, instant coffee than all this coffee that's, like, literal cat pee, you know? So, there's that, and, I think we all know what that's like right now, to, like, can be a good thing when you're forced to make substitutions. You might actually end up liking it, saving money. You can use it in a lot of different recipes and stuff. Yeah, I also have interstitial cystitis in my bladder, which is like having ulcers in the wall of your bladder. So I always have to use the bathroom. I go to the bathroom once an hour. I'm in the bathroom as much as my 70-year-old coworker, bless her heart. And it's just the life I'm used to now. But I also really help. No, I mean herbs, not drugs. No, I don't do any drugs, any prescriptions. I do vape, the like Delta 8 and stuff, like the legal vapes. We don't have medical marijuana just yet in Kentucky, but I totally intend on getting some. As I said, I have a condition that's like ulcers in my bladder, and that's just one of many conditions. And I found that I don't get stoned, I don't get high. I just feel okay when I take it. So I'm not saying that I would never do that, but the goal isn't to be, mentally in a different place. The goal is to help with pain. Got a lot of issues going on, a lot of adenomyosis, endometriosis, cysts, follicle cysts. It's just the list goes on and on. So what helps me the most though is being on my feet, is being productive. If I like just sat at home, like some people with interstitial cystitis have to use catheters and really do need to be on disability. They cannot work. So I don't, and mine is very mild compared to theirs, thank the Lord. But if the more I sit around, like when I was furloughed, the worse I feel, the worse all my issues are. So I work in a factory. I do manufacturing um, on an assembly line. Yeah, well, that's a good thing sometimes when coffee gets your bowels moving, or at least as an adult, a lot of us might struggle with being regular. So that's one good thing about it helping you go in the morning. But um, so I have to wrap this up in about 5 minutes because I have to leave. I just wanted to say the bad apples tend to stick out of any bunch, right? And so you see these loud hillbillies that are, trying to suck up all the air in the room, and you think like that's a representation of Kentucky when really it's full of a lot of hardworking, community-minded, family-oriented people who love the land and want to take care of it. And people know who the bad apples are. Like we know who the closest person who's a registered ex-offender is to us. Um, and I know that, like, you never know about somebody. I mean, look at Titus Morris. He should be a registered ex-offender, but he's not. So you can't really just depend on that. But we have a really cozy situation right now. It's part of what I love. Where just the way our neighborhood is, like we know all our neighbors, and we know the maybe one possible apple that might be a little turning bad here in this street. But people do take care of each other in a way I've never seen. I've gotten stuck a lot. Like the last property we had, we didn't have a proper driveway. I got stuck in the sedan I'm in right now a few times. It wouldn't ever be longer than a half an hour till somebody driving by pulled me out, and it wasn't a busy road. And I got a flat tire doing Instacart. Somebody, was helping me within 20 minutes. And it like thing after thing after thing like that. You really do benefit so much more mentally when you feel like you're in a true community. And that's something that a lot of people are lacking. And it's something a lot of people seek when they homestead. And of course, we all want as much land as we can get. But a lot of people are intimidated by these good land prices. You need, definitely check for the mountaintop blasting. There's maps that will show you stay away from that. And there's a lot of contaminated waterways here because there's so many people doing the off grid thing, being like Titus, like dump. No, I'm not saying Titus does this, but I wouldn't put it past him to dump his outhouse remnants in like the creek, like you're not supposed to do that. And a lot of our lakes and rivers have too much E. coli and bacteria that's evidence of not only humans, but animals. It's just too much going in the water. And you have to be aware of that. And we filter our water religiously. There are a lot of boil water advisories too, because I think it's just like the mountainous terrain that tends to happen more. So that's something to be aware of. We have a well that's not working. I want to get working and use it at least for gardening, maybe a second little house on this property. So a part of its charm is that it is a little stuck back in time. Is that a bad thing? Like, do we want to keep going forward on this track we're on right now? Because I think most people would agree it's not a good one. And the people that we look up to, the people that are dictating everything and ruling the world, the people that we put on pedestals, they're not special. They're not doing anything really good. Because with all the technology and all the money floating around right now, there is no reason why any person on this earth should be starving or should be wanting for food, any necessity. And the fact that we continue to act like, you know, not all of us. A lot of people are waking up, especially when it comes to the political divide, and I have no faith in any politics. I do have more hope in Trump and his administration, and that's actually kind of sad because the bar is set so low, right? But I don't have any faith in any politician. And working with the ground, with working in the land is part of what has helped me build my faith so much. And there is a lot of that here. Some of it is way too rocky, so you have to be careful. You can like I would advise to never buy property like sight unseen. Because I experienced it myself. You just do not see the slopes and everything nearly as much. I just wonder how many people from California, other states have bought land from out of here that actually was unusable. And but there's still plenty of great possibilities here for everybody that sees the opportunities in farmland. And farmers' average age in America is 60 years right now. They are getting ready to retire. More farmland is getting ready to change hands than ever before in like our history as a country. And I think it's time for us to take our power back because whoever controls your food, I mean, has so much power. And Kentucky is very, well, Libby Cat, it's my YouTube channel, so I can talk about whatever I want to talk about. And trust me, there's a lot of personal issues I would never share on YouTube. But part of why I talk about my health issues so much is because I do want to normalize what so many women in particular go through with autoimmune disorders. We're told to sit down and shut up by everybody like Libby Cat and our doctors, and it's not conducive to a good, healthy life. And because I took control and I found what worked. Another thing for interstitial cystitis is, oh my gosh, it is escaping me right now. It's a cranberry, it's derived from the cranberry protein D-mannose, and they actually sell that at Walmart right now. And 10 years ago, you had to order that from like a health food store online, and it's because of people like me with my big mouth that decided to talk about what worked for them and share their issues online, Libby Cat, that help people and get products like D-mannose in a store like Walmart on the shelves. That's how I look at it. It's not about being like, "Ooh, woe is me." I feel better now at 37 years old than I did when I was 22. And I want people to be able to reach their optimum health too. So if you feel like me sharing my health issues is too much, like this is the beauty of YouTube, you can find the fakest, phoniest person that will never say anything negative. Go watch a kiddie show, something that will, soothe you and help you not hear anything bad ever. So, yeah, like I said, I take a lot of mushroom extracts and B vitamins, D vitamins. I take methylated B, and I just have tried different every form of D. Like I said, I'm like deficient a lot. So if any of you have any insight to share whenever I share issues too, that's what I love about this community. We can share with each other things that have worked so we can keep helping each other. And the point of this was that Kentucky stereotypes exist for a reason, like every stereotype does. They tend to have some grains of truth in them. And like I said, we probably do have more of those hillbillies people associate with Kentucky, more so per capita than other states on average. But we also have way more per capita of very good, hardworking, good-hearted, community-minded people. And that's the charm, that's the beauty of like living in God's country with people who really are community minded. And everything that is wrong with the world right now is the people in control are not community minded. It's that simple. So I hope you all have a good day. I'm getting ready to go to work and I'm going to try to jump on more often before I go in for quick lives like this and start, getting more content rolling because it's like on my days off, I don't know, I'm just like kind of in a rut and I need to jump on here and talk about issues as they arise. I saw the Christian outlaw guy just going off and he's unhinged, he's not safe, he's unwell, he's dangerous. He's a good example, in my opinion, of somebody whose brain has been severely affected by things in his environment. And we all are products of our environment. So there's always going to be people like that. And I'm sure in certain counties of Kentucky, there's like a heck of a ton more people like that. You can see in the crime, like the statistics, like Eastern Kentucky, where the land is the cheapest, it's often like the crime and the drugs out there are just so bad. And it's so unfortunate because of this land, we have everything we could need or use. God has given us everything. We can grow it in the land. I really do truly believe everything we need, we can grow. And when people take these chemicals and when people make synthetic, when the fentanyl overdoses, it is heartbreaking. It is an epidemic that people are not paying good enough attention to. And the fact that it's like on everybody's back door steps in Kentucky is like severely, extremely sad. I've known plenty of people affected by hard DRUGSs, and it's so incredibly sad, especially in a place with so much beauty and so much nature and so much to give. Like you might think, oh, it's a small town. People don't have much to do. There is so much to do. It's so much beautiful nature to explore. And that's what people need. That's what young people especially need the most. And I hope that we can bring some more awareness to like the people in need because when you get to that point where you're mentally ill, you're not well, um, you know, it's there's nothing you can do to help somebody like that that's going to get arrested at a Mexican restaurant. Like, that's the kind of person, if I was there at the Mexican restaurant when he started going off, I would get up and leave because I would be scared that that person might have a GUN and pull it out on all of us. Like, that's not the way most men here act. He's not a good example. For him to, like, be proud of his record says a lot. I was arrested once. I wasn't convicted. One day I'll share that story. I'm not above anybody, okay? I was also mercury poisoned. And you know anything about mercury, it's like I was at the lowest place in my life and I made mistakes that were completely mine to make. I was a grown adult, but I also, was going through a lot. And I look at people like him, and like I said, he's a product of his environment. Clearly, he has been severely affected by something. I would suggest everybody to stay away. Like, those people, you see them, you get to know who they are, they tell you who they are, and you stay as far away from them as possible. I don't know why people don't block him more, because he just he's a good example of, like, this is the kind of person, once they start talking and rambling, some people might be, "Oh, yeah, he's from here, his family's from here. That's kinda cool story, dude." No, when they start talking about their family and how they own, like, no, that's a huge red flag. That's the kind of hillbilly that gave Kentucky a bad name. That's the kind of hillbilly you need to stay away from. And I'm going to end it on this. I wouldn't move to Casey County, Kentucky, because there is a lot of those people. If you're not from here, stay away. And they're cordial. They're not like mean. They're still more cordial than most people in cities. But there's certain counties that are more rural, more people that have been there for longer, and you're not going to be looked at as kindly as an outsider. And then, like, that's why I said there's plenty of counties. There's like Berea. There's all sorts of little colleges and universities where there's more culture, more people from other places, and you just don't get that vibe. Like, who are you? Where did you come from? And there's plenty of people with dark hair. I don't like it. You'd be surprised the way some people treat, like, even somebody like me. I don't know, but it is worth looking into. It is worth exploring if you are considering buying land in Kentucky. Don't let the hillbilly stereotypes throw you off. I'm a native. I'm from here. I chose to come back here over and over, as a 19-year-old in my 20s and my 30s, because it is such a great place. Excuse me, and it's a great place to raise families. So I hope you all have a great day. And if you ever have any ideas of anything you'd like to see me talk about for 15, 20, 30 minutes, please leave it in the comment section. Comment of any video. I read all my comments. I'd really appreciate to hear what you guys would like to hear me talk about, because sometimes it does feel like slightly narcissistic. And I see other people talk about, like, a smaller subject, and I never think that, like, something that happened to them. I just feel weird sharing story times and stuff, but I need to get over that, right? And build my channel up and get this community going more, because I would love to turn this into like a homesteading, like, we are building little homesteads every 5 years or so. So once again, I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.